The daily practices of villagers, such as cutting wood, grazing cattle, collecting fruits and roots, and fishing, were banned and made illegal. Forest-dwelling tribes largely depended on hunting small animals like deer, rabbit, and partridge for food. The British also imposed a ban on the hunting of small animals. However, they encouraged the sport of hunting of wild and dangerous animals like the elephant, lion, and tiger by giving rewards. In fact, if anyone was caught hunting illegally, they were severely punished for poaching. Even shifting cultivation, which had been practiced for several generations by the forest tribes, was banned. Shifting, or swidden cultivation, was an agricultural system in which plots of the forest are cultivated in rotation. Such plots are cultivated for a couple of years and then abandoned for the forest to grow back. The forest tribes largely depended on it. However, the British regarded this practice as harmful to the forests. They felt the land became useless for growing timber, led to forest fires, and also resulted in soil erosion. Furthermore, it was difficult for the government to calculate taxes. Thus, the British banned shifting cultivation. The Indian Forest Act snatched away the means of livelihood of many of the nomadic and pastoral tribes. They were left with only two options: either give in and change their occupation, or take the stronger path and rebel. Some of them changed their occupation and were forced to work in tea and coffee plantations, mines, and factories at low wages, bad working conditions, and under strict government supervision. A few others stood up against the tyranny of the British, which led to many rebellions in the forests of India. While the Indian Forest Act was passed as a boon to the British, it proved to be a bane for the forest dwellers.
Okay, students, so this was a recap of the previous section. Before I gave an introduction to the Bastar rebellion in India, and we discussed the map work yesterday. Now I will begin with a small exercise with question answers. You have to raise your hands. Okay, you have to raise your hands and I will ask, you have to answer the questions. Okay, so now the first question is, nobody will answer in chorus, just raise your hands. Shifting cultivation is called dash in Central America. Yes, Vedant Sonavane, you can answer.
Ma'am, zooming.
Anybody else? Because zooming is the wrong answer. Zooming is not the right answer. No, please don't make any guesses. If you have read the lesson, you will be able to answer. Okay, wait a minute, children. No answering in chorus. If I ask one, I will ask one of the students to answer, and only that student will answer. Tanaya, please answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is the right answer according to you?
Ma'am, I think zooming.
No, that is a wrong answer. Yes, Rutvij, you raised your hand.
Ma'am, Milpa.
Milpa is the correct answer. Okay. So the shifting cultivation is called Milpa in Central America. Next question. Only raise your hands and I will ask you the question. Okay. George Yule was an soldier, Christian tribal, administrator, or actor. Utsav, you can answer.
Ma'am, administrator.
Very true. The right answer is administrator. George Yule was an administrator. Indian Forest Act of 1865 was amended once, twice, thrice, or 4 times. Okay, let me ask. I'll ask one of the participants who are raising hands. Aviral, you can answer the question.
Ma'am, it was amended twice.
It was amended twice. Very good. It was one in 1878 and the next year is 1927. Okay. Next question. Only raise your hands, no answer in chorus. The Kauravas, Karachas and Yerukulas were from Andhra Pradesh, Madras, Surat or Durgapur. Okay, Utsav, you want to answer? Yes.
Ma'am, Andhra Pradesh.
Wrong answer. If you have read the lesson, you will be easily able to answer the question. Yes, who else? Kunj, you can answer the question. Yes, Kunj.
Ma'am, Madras.
Yeah, the correct answer is Madras. Please make a note of these question answers because they are important from your exam point of view also. Next question. The 1878 amendment to the Indian Forest Act classified forests into dash categories. Yes, Manan, you can answer the question.
3 categories.
3 categories is the right answer. Very good. Manan, also can you... Good job. Now, Manan, also can you tell everyone the 3 categories of forests? Yes, Manan. Which 3 categories it was divided into in the 1878, the forests?
Reserved forest.
Yes.
Protected.
Protected, okay. And the
Village
last
forest.
one was village forest. Very good. So these were the 3 categories the forests were divided into. So now, children, I will begin with the next section, the 3rd section. Again, I'll give a quick introduction because yesterday there was disturbance and recurring problem in the internet. So I'll again quickly begin with what we learned yesterday in previous session. So I started off the lesson with these 3 pictures of the tribal rebels, the leader of the tribal rebellions. The first picture is of Birsa Munda, who belonged to Chhattisgarh. Then we have Alluri Sitaram Raju, who was a rebel from Andhra Pradesh, and Sidhu and Kanu Murmu, they were from Santals. They were from the Santhal tribe. Okay. Then, children, I asked you this question: why do you think most of the tribal rebellions happened by the late 19th and the early 20th century? The reason is that in 1865 we had the enactment of the first. For the first time, we have the establishment of the Indian Forest Services and also the Indian Forest Act in 1865. It came into being. Then in 1878 was an amendment in this act, and as per the act, the forests were divided into 3 categories and the tribals were completely prohibited to enter these forests. You have just witnessed the video which clearly explains the condition of the tribals after these acts were imposed on them, and that is why on a very large scale tribal rebellions began to happen by the late 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. And children, if you have any queries, raise your hands. Okay? Don't just unmute and ask questions. You can raise your hand if you have a query. Yes. You want to ask
Ma'am, one
something?
boy is again and again messaging.
Can you please tell me the name of the boy?
Ma'am, on WhatsApp is messaging that you are not admitting him due to network issue.
If there is no network issue, these people are late. You should be late. You should be punctual. In case if you are late, just wait for me to admit you. In the middle of the lecture, it is very difficult to admit you. Okay, and don't disrupt the lecture. Don't ask. Inform me about all this. Okay, you focus on the lesson right now. Okay, so I was answering this question about why the rebellions mainly happened by the late 19th and the early 20th century was only because with the impact of the new Forest Acts and the amendments, they were having a great impact on the lives of the tribal people and the villagers. So they were out of anguish, out of their rage against these tribal laws, they started rebelling. Okay, and we have taken into consideration 2 important rebellions of the same times, of same contemporary times. One is in India, and it is mainly in the district of Bastar, which is located in the southern part of Chhattisgarh, present-day Chhattisgarh state. And the other case study we are going to study is about from the Java Islands in Indonesia. So now, in yesterday's class, I have already discussed this map with all of you. Okay, from exam point of view, this map is also important. This is the southernmost part of the Chhattisgarh district. And okay, Manan, you have a query? Do you have a query, beta? Anuj, Rachit, Vedant, Sonavni, all the others, please, you mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Okay. Yes, so in the southernmost part of India, you can see, you can have a look here. This map is important. So the first area in the entire district of Bastar in the year 2000, Kanker was the place from where the rebellion actually began. And then we have the district of Bastar and Dantewada. So this we have discussed in yesterday's class. Okay, also we started off with a geographical location and the communities in Bastar. So children, anybody can answer. You have to raise your hand and answer the question about where is Bastar located. You have to describe the geographical location of Bastar. Please raise your hand. I have already explained this in the yesterday's class. Please raise your hand quickly. Anybody? Yes, 9th B class.
Southern part of
Wait. You have to raise your hand so that I know who's answering. Is that Aviral?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Aviral, you can explain the geographical location of Bastar quickly. Yes.
Ma'am, Bastar is located at the southern part of present day Chhattisgarh.
Okay.
And ma'am,
it shares boundaries with Andhra Pradesh, Odisha,
it's
and
Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, and Maharashtra.
Very good. What else you know about the geography of Bastar? Anything else? The central part of Bastar is a plateau. Okay. The north of this plateau plateau is the Chhattisgarh plain. Which plain is it? Which river plain is it? River plain, river basin is the Godavari. Very good, because Godavari is also known as the Dakshin Ganga. It is the second longest river of India. Okay, and it flows into the Bay of Bengal. Okay, and which is its most important tributary? The river Indravati. Yes, the river Indravati flows from east to west, and it is there in this particular region, and that is why you have these dense forests in this. Okay, then what else? Now the next thing, name the 4 important communities living in Bastar. Quickly, we have done it yesterday. Raise your hands. Ninth B and C. Anybody, please raise your hands. Yes, we have 2 participants here. Okay. Yes, Aviral, you can answer the question. Please name the 4 main.
Sorry, ma'am. By mistakenly, it was already raised. So
who else would like to answer this question? Please answer this question quickly. Advait?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please answer this question. 4 communities living in Bastar. We have done it yesterday.
Ma'am, my screen is hanged.
Anup, can you answer this question? Anup Kulkarni?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please answer this question.
Yes,
which 4 main communities are living in Bastar? Quickly, fast. Okay. Please pay attention to the lesson now. 4 main communities are living in Bastar. It is the Gond.
Ma'am, Gonds.
Yes. Which else? Please unmute your mic and speak.
Durwas.
Yes.
Halbaz.
Okay.
Bhatras.
Bhatras. Very good. So these are the 4 main communities living in Bastar: Gonds, Dhurwas, Bhatras, and Halbaz. And let me tell you, it was the Dhurva community which initiated the rebellion in Bastar. Okay. Now, Next is languages spoken. So their native own tribal languages they speak. Local belief system, I have discussed this yesterday only. They have this belief system that the earth has given them this forest and all the resources of the forest. So they worship the earth, the mother earth also, and during their agricultural festivals, they do some offerings to the mother earth. They believe in the mother earth as a goddess also, and also besides worshipping the mother goddess, they also worship the village spirits. And I discussed this yesterday also, that they have a egalitarian society. They are very unlike the Hindu society, where we have the caste system, that or the society is divided into 4 different castes. But among the tribals, they have a egalitarian society, and they only worship the river, the spirit of the river, the spirit of the mountain, and the spirit of the forest. Okay, we have done that. Okay, now religion and festivals I have already discussed. Belief system I have discussed. Now forest life and demarcation of village boundaries. Can anybody elaborate on that? Yesterday we discussed this. What kind of demarcation? What are the rules do they follow? Okay, so nobody is answering, so let me explain it again. In the forest, they have demarcation of different boundaries of villages are there. They have their own village headmen. Now these villages have a control over certain territory of the forest. This was a practice in centuries. Okay, now if a person from one particular village enters any other village and takes any wood or any resource from that forest which belongs to the other village, they have to pay some kind of a fee, or they have to make a return in some in the barter exchange system. So what is the name of the fees? There are 3 kinds of fees they used to pay. It was known as the Devasari, Dand, or Man. These were the 3 different types of fees they used to pay if they are taking any kind of resources or material or wood from the forest which belongs to any other village. Okay, so this was the demarcation rule of the village boundaries. Okay, now exchange, trade, or barter system they used to follow. If some villages also protected these forests by engaging watchmen, and each household contributes by giving some kind of a grain or free service. Okay, if you're going and entering some other village and you are offering some services, so in exchange of that you will get you may not get money, but you may get grains, or you may get some other resource from the forest. So this was the kind of culture and lifestyle being followed by the tribals. Now also the most important thing was that these tribal people, they used to take care of the forest. How? By taking care of the soil and doing the shifting cultivation, which I have already explained you in the previous classes, how the shifting cultivation was performed on one particular patch of land, and then this land was left barren for 7 to 8 years so that new vegetation grows on that area on its own. Okay, also they worshipped the mother earth, so they used to pay respect to the mother earth. Then they had these festivals, annual festivals of big hunt, because the tribals used to do hunting also in the forest. So the village headmen, all the village headmen of the parganas. What was a pargana? Pargana was a cluster, a group of villages. So they had a meeting annually wherein they used to celebrate and discuss the matter concerning the forests or any kind of issues related to the forest. So this is how they were taking care of the forest also. So children, I covered this part yesterday and I have elaborated again. Any queries here? Any questions? Please raise your hands. Yes, 9th B, C, any questions here? All right.
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. So now we'll come to the second section of the Bastar Rebellion, that is the fears of the people by the late 19th century because of the enactment of the new forest laws. Okay, as a consequence of the colonial intervention, these people were, especially when the reservation of forest started, 2/3 of the forests in the year 1905 was proposed to be reserved, and they completely banned the shifting cultivation in the Bastar district. Also, hunting was completely prohibited and severe punishment was there if they are performing any kind of hunting. And collection of forest produce and any kind of activities which the forest dwellers were earlier performing, they were completely stopped or prohibited from doing that. Some villages were allowed to stay in the reserved forests. Why? Let me tell you, children, because the colonialists, the Britishers, they were acquiring they were growing these, they had these plantations of sal and teak trees for building their ships. They required people for cutting the trees, so they needed expert people. So they made use of these people who were already the tribals. So some of the village people were allowed to stay in the reserve forest on the condition that they worked for free for the forest department and in cutting and transporting of trees and protecting the forest from fires. Subsequently, these came to be known as forest villages. जो demarcation हमने सीखा है, three demarcations were there in the year after 1878, reserved, protected and village forest. So village forests were those where villagers were actually living and helping the Britishers and the forest management out in cutting the trees. Okay? People of other villages were displaced without any notice or compensation. मतलब जो लोगों ने support नहीं किया या जो लोग they were not interested in these offers by the forest management working for free. So those people were taken out. They were thrown out of the forest and they were not paid any kind of compensation. So you can make out their everyday livelihood was at stake. It was very difficult for them to survive and they were thrown out of their own homeland. For long, villagers had been suffering from increased land rents. उनको land rent देना पड़ता था, and frequent demands for free labor and goods by the colonial officials. So for nothing, they were working for nothing every day. Their condition was miserable after the Forest Acts were enacted. Then came the terrible famines of the year 1899 and 1900. And again in 1907 and 1908. Children, as I was telling you, 1910 is the year when the main rebellion happened. Which year? 1910. So before the year 1910, दो बार सूखा भी पड़ गया. 1899 to 1900 और दूसरा famine आया 1907 or 08. You can make out when famine is also there. They are living hand to mouth, the tribals were living, and their condition was already miserable living in these forests as per the forest management system. It was increasingly getting difficult for them to survive. And then this reservations were after the year 1907, some reservation of certain forests was also happened, which completely prohibited the tribals from entering the forest. That's when they completely got enraged, and that led to the rebellion in the year 1910. Okay, now people were worried and they gathered for discussions. How they were interacting? Because there was a very strict control by the forest management. So how is it that they organized the rebellion? So I'll come to that. Now they began to gather and discuss these issues in the village councils, where जो भी उनके village के meetings होते थे, तो उस time पर they used to discuss about these problems that they were facing in the bazaars and also during the festival time. And especially the village headmen and the priests, they also used to gather and they used to discuss the issues of concern. Initiative was taken by the Dhurwas of Kanger forest. In the beginning, I was telling you it was the Dhurwas of the Kanger forest who initiated the Bastar rebellion. Their reservation first took place. उनके जो जंगल है उनमें सबसे पहले reservation of forest begin हुआ. That's why those were the people who began the rebellion first. Although there was no single leader, many people of the Gundadhur, many people speak of Gundadhur. Gundadhur was one of the tribal rebel. Okay, he was the person, he belonged to the village called Nethanar. Okay, as he was an important figure in this particular movement, and he was the one who initiated the movement. Just like we have Mangal Pandey, who initiated the 1857 rebellion. He sparked off the revolt. Similarly, in the tribal rebels, we have Gundadhur as the person who initiated this tribal rebellion in the year 1910. In 1910, mango boughs, a lump of earth, chilies and arrows, began circulating between villages. It means अब वो interaction कैसे करते थे, communicate कैसे करते थे, even because the forest management was very strict. So as a symbol, they used to send these mango boughs, or थोड़ा सा soil भेज दिया, lump of earth, mirchi, chilies and arrows, ऐसा कुछ. They were symbols of some kind of a message that they this is how they were communicating and planning a rebellion. Okay, these were actually messages inviting villagers to rebel against the British. Every village contributed something to the rebellion expenses. मतलब कुछ खर्चा भी होता है, आप rebellion plan कर रहे हो, so you have to make some prior arrangements. So this was also. Bazaars were looted. When the actual rebellions began, then what happened during that time? Bazaars were looted, the houses of officials and traders, schools and police stations were burnt and robbed, and the grain was redistributed. उनके घरों में जो grains उनके stored थे, उनके store rooms में, वहां से निकाल के उन्होंने अपने लोगों में बांट दिया. Most of those who were attacked were in some way associated with the colonial state and its oppressive laws. William Ward was a missionary. Okay, missionary कौन होते हैं? जो धर्म प्रचारक होते हैं, उनको हम missionary कहते हैं. He wrote, he was observing this rebellion in Bastar. He wrote that from all directions came streaming into Jagdalpur police, merchants, forest peons, schoolmasters and immigrants. सभी तरफ से लूटपाट शुरू हो गई और ये सभी लोग इधर से उधर भागने लगे. Okay, this is how this particular rebellion happened, which initiated first by the Dhurwas in the Kanger forest, and Gundadhur was from the Netavanar forest was the chief, was the leader of this particular rebellion. Okay, and then it spread to the entire district of Bastar and Dantewada also. Okay, you have the stories of the rebellion from source E and F. You can refer to them also. They are there in your textbook also. Now, beta, there was a suppression of this rebellion. How the rebellion was suppressed by the Britishers. Okay, the British, what did they do? They sent their own soldiers and troops to suppress the rebellion. The Adivasi leaders tried to negotiate. अभी जब suppress किया, उनको मारना शुरू किया, तो जो उनके leaders हैं, they tried to negotiate with the British. British surrounded their camps and fired upon them. They opened fire, on these unarmed people and the tribals, and they killed them in large numbers. Okay. After that, they marched through the village, flogging and punishing those who had taken part in the rebellion. जिसने participate किया rebellion में, उन सबको बहुत severely punish किया गया. Most villages were deserted as people fled into jungles. It took 3 months, right from 1910 February, March, April, May, for the British to regain control. तो ये 3 से 4 महीने तक ये rebellion चलता रहा. However, they never managed to capture their leader Gundadhur. Okay, in a major victory for the rebels. अभी इस वजह से ये 3-4 महीने जो ये rebellion चलता रहा, उसकी वजह से एक फायदा हुआ forest dwellers को, that the reservation was suspended. Reservation of which particular Bastar area forest was suspended for some time, which was later on implemented. Okay, reservation of forest का मतलब क्या है? To not allow anybody to enter the forest. Okay? And the area to be reserved was reduced to roughly half of that planned before 1910. 1910 से पहले whatever area was planned कि इतना बड़ा area हम उसको reserve करने वाले हैं, so they decided that half of the area only will be reserved now. So this was a victory of the rebellion for the people. Okay. Now, what after this? What happened? What kind of life the people were leading after the rebellion got over and after independence? Now, this is the last part of the third section. Is everybody with me? Are you able to understand? Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The story of the forest of Bastar did not end here. Let me tell you, children, even after the rebellion, the people or the tribals were still exploited, and even today, even after independence, also their condition is still miserable in many parts of the country. They still work at very low wages in many of the factories all across the country. Okay? After independence, is the same practice of keeping people out of the forest and reserving them for industrial use continued. Even the Indian government could not help this practice much, because especially 1907 also is the time when TISCO was established. Last year we have studied that Tata Iron and Steel Industry was established in India, especially in the Chota Nagpur Plateau. So you can make out this establishment hone ke baad, even after independence also, the Indian government also could not do much for the tribal. They were completely displaced from their own homeland in the forest. Okay, in the 1970s is much after the independence of India. The World Bank proposed that 4,600 hectares of natural sal forest should be replaced by tropical pine to provide pulp for paper industry. It's from your textbook. You can make out 4,600 hectares में ताल के पेड़ लगाए गए, प्लांटेशन लगाया गया. क्यों लगाया गया? क्योंकि वर्ल्ड बैंक ने इसका डिमांड किया कि पेपर मेकिंग इंडस्ट्री के लिए हमें सैल का ट्री जरूरी होता है. So that led to a massive, large scale, 4,600 hectares. You can make out how large the area would be. So this large scale deforestation happened, and again the plantation of sal trees was done so that this requirement of paper could be done. It could be provided with. This was really devastating for the forest.
It was done in India or in the whole world?
It was in India. It's specifically for India, beta. ठीक है, हम ये इंडिया की बात कर रहे हैं और हम स्पेसिफिकली बस्तर रीजन की बात कर रहे हैं बेटे. ठीक है. Also, it was only after protest by the local environmentalists that the project was stopped. अभी हमने scientific forestry के बारे में सेक्शन में पढ़ा है, and how plantations were encouraged. So you can make out how, because of this, it was disturbing the normal forest life and the ecosystem. Large number of various species of not only the plant species but the animals also became extinct. Why? Because of this large scale deforestation and mainly focusing on the commercial plantation and crops. So you can make out at such a large extent this was happening. Okay, now we will, after this, I will quickly, because we have just 5 minutes left, we will do a quick exercise on what we have. We'll do a quick recap of what we have learned in this particular section. The third section is over now, and I'll quickly do some fill in the blanks question answers exercise also. Okay, people of Bastar, उनका lifestyle हमने discuss किया, उनका geography, उनका lifestyle, religion, their belief system, उनका the trading system, the barter system in the village, and how they were conserving and how they were protecting the forest. We have discussed that in the first part of the third section. Then after the enactment of the Forest Acts, what were the fears of the tribal people after the colonization? We have looked into that today. After that, how Gundadur, under the leadership of Gundadur, the rebellion of Bastar happened, and which initiated from the Kanker district, the part of Kanker in the Bastar district, where from the Dhurva community it began, because the reservation of forest in that particular area started. And what happened afterwards, how the rebellion was suppressed by massive large-scale killing of the tribal people, and how somehow some victory was achieved by the Bastar rebels, when out of the total area that was planned for reservation of forest, only half of that was reserved. So this was one of the outcomes. And then we also discussed about after independence also, that was not of, the tribals were still suffering, and how the World Bank, they initiated the the growing of the sal plantation after clearing the forest in the area of 4,600 hectares. So this we have covered in this third section. Let's quickly do some fill in the blanks. We have 3 minutes left. Bastar is located in the southernmost part of dash and borders of dash, dash and dash. Please raise your hand. Only no answer in chorus. Yes, Kunj, you can answer. Kunj Patil, you can answer. Yes. Okay.
Ma'am, Bastar is located in the southernmost part of Chhattisgarh.
Very good.
And borders of Maharashtra,
Yes.
Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah.
And
one more state. And
West Bengal.
No, it's Odisha. Okay. Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Odisha. Odisha पास में पड़ता है ना छत्तीसगढ़ के. So it is Odisha. It's near the Bay of Bengal. Next question. Okay. Kushagra wants to answer this question. Please answer. The dash, dash, dash and dash were some of the tribes who lived here. 4 tribes. We did this recap in the beginning of the lesson. Yes, Kushagra.
Gonds.
Yes. Gonds, yes.
Ma'am. More.
Dhurvas, yes. Anybody else would like to answer? Please raise your hands. Kushagra, please answer the question, or anybody else, please answer the question quickly. I have discussed this in the beginning of the lesson also. Aviral, Vedant, Sonavane. Vedant, Sonavane, you answer this question, please.
Yes, ma'am.
चार कम्युनिटीज के नाम बोलो बेटा, हमने शुरू में किया है ना लेसन के बिगनिंग में, जल्दी बोलो. एनीबडी? Yes, Vedant, Sonavane, please. Nilay can. Yes. Gonds, yes.
Gond,
Yes.
Bhadra, Halba, Dhurva.
Okay. Very good. Number 1 is Gonds, Dhurvas, Bhatras and Halbas. ये 4 communities है जो कि यहाँ बस्तर के एरिया में, the Bastar district में रहते हैं. The villagers paid a small fee called dash in exchange for the wood from the forest of another village. Yes, ये Shantanu, you can answer. Shantanu, you would like to answer? Kushagra, would you like to answer? मैंने Yes, bete.
Ma'am, can I?
Done.
Yes, yes, please do, quickly.
Done.
Sorry.
Dand, yeah, you can say Dand, Man or Devsari. These were the 3 different names for this particular fee. Or also they also worked, you know, they followed the barter system. Last